Fire of the season has burned 7 structures. Now, firefighters say they were outbuildings, not homes. The Ponina fire, which broke out Sunday, is now mapped at more than 1,600 acres, about 5 miles north of Beatty. Firefighters say it's 40% contained. People living nearby are down to a level 2 get set evacuation notice. The cause is still under investigation.
Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley is asking the Biden administration to include wildfire recovery funds in the president's American Jobs Plan. Senator Merkley made his case yesterday in front of the Senate Appropriations Committee. He argues that investment in forest infrastructure benefits the national economy. And Senator Merkley points to Oregon's wine industry as one of the hardest hit by wildfire smoke. The Department of Commerce secretary says the committee will work to help in the state's rebuilding.
Be aware, fire crews in Lane County will be conducting a prescribed burn this weekend near McKenzie Bridge. They expect to light up to about 50 acres in a low-intensity fire to help forest health. The fire crews tell us they'll be burning east of McKenzie Bridge and say smoke will be visible from the communities of McKenzie Bridge and Rainbow. They do not expect to close any roads.
People living along the Oregon coast are still recovering from the fires that burned through Otis, Oregon last September.
Cor Harlan is live this morning to tell us more about an art exhibit illustrating what the fire did. And he introduces us to a couple trying to make life better for victims of the fire. Cor?
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Ken. You know, there are almost 300 homes burned in and around the Otis area last September. That was just after Labor Day last September. Almost 3/4 of those homes burned were owned by people who are either not insured or underinsured. This morning, we're going to introduce you to an art show in Lincoln City, highlighting some of the horrors of the fire damage as it ravaged the area there in and around Otis, and introduce you, as you mentioned, to 2 people who are determined not to let their neighbors fall through the cracks. This is a picture of Melinda and Ty Small after their work helping get a new foundation poured for one of almost 300 families that lost homes in the Otis fire last September. The faces of the Smalls, like the faces of many others who lost homes in the fire, show people despondent over their losses but determined to recover. It was just after midnight that Tuesday morning after Labor Day when Melinda remembers getting a knock at the door.
When we were leaving, we could see the trees exploding with fire.
The fire victims agreed to these photographs now on display that make up the Up From the Ashes exhibit at the Lincoln City Cultural Center. The show runs through May the 9th. It is an effort to have an official recording of a brutal part of Lincoln County history.
The illustration of the photography and the artwork and the items that are pulled from the fire, it's a way to illustrate what they've gone through, and the artwork tends to be a great healing mechanism. And so the combination of the stories and the artwork, I think it's a great way to show what's happened.
And in the presence of such heartbreak, Melinda and Ty Small did the remarkable. Instead of leaving Otis, they stayed there and started helping people clean up and haul off fire debris and get power and water restored, essentially helping people get their lives back and get their homes reconfigured. They've started a foundation to fund a lot of this work for many people who are either not insured or underinsured. While they have put in a lot of work to help out others, they've gotten more satisfaction out of it than they ever imagined.
This is an amazing community. I say it all the time, without the fire happening, I never would have known what an amazing community we actually have.
Boy, and that is remarkable. These folks, these Smalls, they did lose their house in the fire as well, and for them to reach out to others and find satisfaction in helping others, that kind of is a way to deal with their grief, is nothing short of remarkable. If you want to donate, they actually do have a foundation, the Small Foundation. If you want to donate to that, you go to our website, coin.com, get in touch with there, send them some money to continue, Jenny and Ken, the good work that they are doing. And believe it or not, even all these months after the fires have stopped, there is still work to be done to get people back onto their property in terms of getting power restored, power poles put back on the property, water systems put back on the property, septic systems put back on the property. You don't think about that, but that fire was so hot, it burned 12 inches underneath the ground. So in a lot of cases, a lot of that plastic pipe and stuff like that is just ruined and needs to be restored. So the work there in Otis continues.
Wow, what a great story, though, about just that community coming together to help each other out.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. They're doing pretty awesome work.
Yeah. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Cor. Let's take a look at our weather and traffic right now. We got Carly standing by, taking a look at what's happening out on the roads. But first, Kelly Bayern is here to tell us about changes coming over the next couple of days.
Yeah, we will kick out this summer-like stretch of weather that we've had yesterday.